JSON stands for JavaScript Object It is one of the format to exchange the data between the applications across the network. You can see JavaScript object rotation. It is one of the format to exchange the data across the network. It is language independent, self-describing, platform independent, JavaScript object rotation. It is one of the format to exchange the data across the network. It is a language independent, platform independent, language independent, platform independent, and self-describing. Everything will be represented in the object rotation. Entire data will be represented in the form of object. Data will be displayed or represented in the form of key value, or we can say name value pair. Data will be represented in the form of name value pair. Syntax. In the syntax, so this is how they are represented. Name value pair. So here we have so elements are separated by comma. I want to take so it is a name value pair. Data will be represented in the form of name value pair, and everything should be represented in the form of object. So JSON will start and end with the float basis. So what is an object here? object in the JSON is represented in the form of, so we are going to get object in this form, floor bases, opening of the floor base, closing of the floor base. JSON will be represented in the form of object, floor bases. Array. Array values are represented so an example, array of names. Create array of salaries. So name is salaries, value is everything should be in the name value. Name value is array. How to represent object as well. Account, pro. This is the data. So how will you represent? Account, value is object. Value is object. Value is object. So object will be represented with the floor basis. So in the object what we have? Name, or to represent list of. So how to represent list of accounts? Create a JSON format to represent this list of accounts, which is nothing but array of accounts. Write a JSON format to store array of accounts. Write the code, write the format of it. So how you represent accounts? Here we have array of accounts. So here we have name, this how we have created. Accounts, array of accounts. Next, we have a class. In the class we have now represent the data for this. Create an object for this and represent the data. We have a class. Represent the data for this class. We have a class. Represent the data for this class. represent the data for this class? Now, look at the format. How you represent this data? How you represent the data? This data will be represented in the form of invoice, because it's an object of a class. In the object also, what is the first one? Let us say I'm taking flag, comma. What is the next element we had? This how I have given. Close this flag, close the invoice. This is the format in which we are writing the JSON. This is the format in which we will be writing the JSON. I hope everyone is good representing the JSON. The same JSON, how do you handle in the Salesforce? This is generalized format of writing the JSON. In the Salesforce, how do you represent the same? In the Salesforce, how will you represent the same? In the Salesforce, how will you represent the same? So we call this as a serialization and deserialization. What is the concept we call it as? Serialization and deserialization. What is this serialization? Converting object into the form of string. If an object is given to you, if you are converting in the form of a string and giving, it is called serialization. Whenever the data is exchanged between two systems, it will be exchanged in the form of string only. When data is exchanged between two systems, data will be exchanged in the form of string only. Your data may be anything. You convert the data in the form of string, sent to them. They will convert the string into original format and use it. The data across the network is exchanged in the form of string. Now, how to convert a string? Actually, I want to send account record to the third party. Now, there is a Java application and there is a Salesforce application. There is a Java application, there is a Salesforce application. What these people are doing? In the Java application, they have enter name, they are such. In the Salesforce, we have a database. This is the database in the Salesforce. Now, from the third party application, which is your Java, they're making a request. It is a Java application. In the Java application, they entered Wipro. Now, when you click on the search, they're making a request to Salesforce system. Salesforce system going to the account object, verifying are there any records. Yes, there is a record. Wipro banking. Now, what was this? It is an account record. When Salesforce verified, yes, there is an account record with the name equal to Wipro. Industry equal to banking. And this is the data what they receive. Now they want to send this data. They want to send this data to the Java. Now how they will send? How they will send? You made a request to Salesforce. Salesforce went to database, wrote a SQL query. They identified that there is a record. This record they want to send it. It is an object. So what the Salesforce people will do? Convert ACC into string format and send the string here. So what they are sending? They are sending a string. There can be a JSON string or XML string. Then the Java people will receive. What Java people will do? Convert the string into and use it. Now the process of converting the object into string is called serialization. The process of converting the object into the string format is called serialization. The process of converting the string into original format of object is called deserialization. So what we have? Serialization and deserialization. Process of converting the object into string format is serialization. Process of converting your string into object is called deserialization. Serialization and we have deserialization. So let us take an example. Let me give you a quick points here. It is a process of converting object into string format. It is a process of converting object into string format. Deserialization. It is a process of converting string into original So we had serialization and deserialization. Process of converting the data, process of converting the object into the string format, or converting the string into object format. But the point here is, what are the methods we have, what is the process we have for converting them into string or object format. What is the methods we have, what are the classes we have for converting the object into string format or string into object format. What methods we have, what process we have. Let us understand. So in the Salesforce, we have JSON. JSON class. So JSON is a predefined Apex class. It is defined under the namespace of this class contain all the methods required to serialize and deserialize JSON is a standard Apex class. It is defined under the namespace of system. This class contains all the methods required for serialization and deserialization. JSON is the class which contains all the methods required for serialization, deserialization of data. Methods. What are the methods we have? Serialize. We have a serialize. So suppress null value. So we had serialize pretty. So we have deserialize, deserialize, deserialize strict, and type. Then we have create generator, create. So these are the methods what we have. These are the methods what we have to serialize and deserialize the data. If you want to serialize or deserialize the JSON data, if you want to serialize or deserialize, these are the methods which are defined on the JSON class. We have a predefined JSON class. We have a predefined JSON class which is used to serialize and deserialize the data available. Right. Fine, boss. So let us do one by one example. First, we'll start with serialize. this will convert the object into string format. In a non-pretty print format. Generate the string in non-pretty. What is this non-pretty print format? Look at this. This is non-pretty print format. If same thing pretty print format, so what is the difference you are finding? One character space is given between the elements, which is called pretty. One character space is given between the elements, which is called pretty print format. One character space is given between the elements, which is called pretty print format. So serialize will generate the string in the non-pretty format. So let me give you an example for you. The same set of data I will take one more time. Okay. Now let me give you. I was also taking one wrapper class for my convenience. I just took right. Now let us come back to this class. Then I'm giving integer value equal to JSON dot. Why JSON dot serialize? Any method which is a static can be accessed directly with the class name. If the method is a static method, it has to be accessed directly with the class. So JSON dot serialize. Then we have next. JSON dot serialize. Serialize. Next, I am taking account. Account ACC equal to then we are going to take account value equal to JSON dot serialize. Then we had student. Student should be equal to, I have name, city, phone number, right? I want to provide. So student value equal to JSON dot serialize. Now what I'm doing, I am taking now I am taking data. The data I am trying to serialize. JSON dot serialize 10. Integer value is serialized into string. Decimal value is serialized to string. Account object is serialized to string. Student object is serialized to string. This is a S object. This is a object of a Apex class. Now let us print these values and see what type of result we got. Taking integer value. We have print. So we have serialized the data. Let us see what is the format in which we receive. Let me give you some space here. Look at it. So integer, there is serialized in the form of string, decimal serialized in the form of string, account serialized in the form of JSON string, student is also serialized in the form of JSON. You can see key value pair. Because integer and decimal are primitive, straight away they are displayed, but it is in the form of string. It is in the form of string. Are you clear? Serialized means what? Convert the data in the form of string. Convert the data in the form of string. Which string? JSON string. Convert the data in the form of JSON string in our case. Why? Because we are using JSON.serialize. Serialization means converting the object in the form of string. If you are using XML, XML string. If you are using a JSON, it is a JSON string. Are you clear? Am I clear with this? So what is the meaning of serialization? Convert the object in the form of JSON. Now same story I am repeating again. Integer pretty. You will not find any difference in the integer pretty because it is a single value. Serialize.
Satish, here account is the S object, right? We are
Exactly.
creating object for a S object.
Exactly. Then we have account serialize student. The pretty format you can only find the difference with the objects. Serialize pretty.
Sir,
So,
here account is a hello.
so what is an account boss? It is a standard object.
The account so account is an object and JSON dot serialized, so we are converting object into string.
Exactly.
Okay.
What is the basic concept we are looking? Converting the object in the form of string, which is called serialization. That's what we are discussing from last 10 minutes. Converting the object in the form of string. Object can be integer, object can be a decimal, object can be integer, object can be a decimal, object can be a standard object can be a custom object can be a object of predefined apex class, object of user defined apex class, whatever it is. Now even when you take integer, it is integer. It is not int. The integer is also what? The data type of integer also internally what? Class. Decimal. It is also class. Boolean. Internally it is a what? When you create an object for a class, what happened? It becomes a, you are creating an object which you are trying to convert in the form of string. Okay, come back. Have a preview. So look at the difference what you are finding. The first, second set. If you look at this difference between type, what is the difference? If you look at this type, there is no space. Here we have a space. Between the column, we don't have a space. Here we have space. Right? Are you getting the space? It is called pretty print format. Only display format. Conceptually, both are same. Only while display, there is a slight difference. Conceptually, both are same. JSON serialized, JSON serialized, JSON serialized pretty. Are you clear about this? Now we have two more formats here. Look at the other two formats. Okay. Now I'm taking it. Okay. Now look at the format what we had. Contact C1 equal C1 dot last name C1 dot we are trying to serialize it. So when we have contact value equal to JSON dot or to make it more easy, I'll give student. Probably that will be good. Given. So I have given only name and city. Phone number I have not given. Then I told contact value. Contact value. I have taken a contact value. JSON dot serialize COL. Serialize. Same one I am giving contact null equal to JSON dot serialize stick. Your object comma. What is the purpose of true? We'll see. Now what was this? Actually student has how many values? 3 values. But I have given only 2. Third one is null. Then I told JSON dot serialize student 1. Then I told the second one JSON dot serialize student 1 comma 2. So go to the VF page. Without suppressing. With suppress, without suppress. Have a preview. So look at this. Without suppress, what is happening? Phone equal to null. Phone equal to null. If you are not passing the values, they are taken as null, and null values are also represented in the form of JSON. When you say suppress null, if any value is null, they don't be converted into JSON string. So convert the JSON string by compressing null values. JSON serialize by compressing null value. JSON serialize. Serialize, in case if you don't give any value, they will be taken as null and they will be displayed in the string. If you don't assign any value, they are taken as null and they are displayed in the values. If you are giving suppress null, the elements whose values are not given, they are going to be suppressed. When you say suppressed, they will not be displayed in the serialized string. Are you clear about it? Second one is what? Suppress null values. So that is the reason we have not received phone equal to null. I hope you are good with this. So what is the next method we have? Serialize. Okay, object comma suppress null value. Similarly, we have serialize pretty object comma suppress null value. Both will give the same output. UI will change. I hope you are good with this example. So what are the methods we have? We have serialize pretty, serialize object comma suppress null value, serialize pretty object comma suppress null value. I hope you are good with this. So in this, this method will serialize the data and in case if there are any null values, they are suppressed. They will not be represented in the string. serialization. Output. City. This is how we create. JSON dot list. True. Name. This is the difference between suppress null value. I hope you are clear with this format.
Satish,
Yes.
here our concept is converting the object into string format.
Yes.
But here account and student are the objects, but integer, decimal, these all the not objects, right?
See, integer is also a wrapper class. Decimal is also a wrapper class. Every data type we are using in the Salesforce, internally they are wrapper classes. Every object we are using, every data type we are using, integer, ID, boolean, raw, all these are internally a wrapper classes. So when you say integer age, we are creating a variable for a wrapper class integer. Right, boss?
Satish,
Yes.
can we say the primitive data types are the
Every
wrapper classes?
primitive data type we have taken, they have the corresponding associated wrapper classes.
Yeah. I mean, what my doubt is actually that belongs to primitive types like integer, decimal, float, double, boolean. These are the wrapper classes. No? These are the I mean basically we can say a complete statement. Primitive data types are the innerly these are the wrapper classes. We can say that. Hello. Hello.
Internally, every primitive type is a wrapper class. Internally, every primitive type is a wrapper class. Internally, every primitive type is a wrapper class. That is how even the objects we are able to convert it. Right, boss? So this is about the serialization using static format. Now, let us go to deserialization. What is this deserialization? What we are going to, where we are going to use it. Right. Let me close the session.